Hey Divine Ones, welcome back to another video. It's Latoya O'Kill. If you are new to the channel, I am a life coach, a minister, and a business mentor. I train and certify women to become life coaches so they can work from home, drop their 9 to 5s, and create an income while making an influence. So if that sounds like you, if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure you also click the bell so you can get your notifications every time I upload a video to the channel. So on today's video, I want to be talking to you on how to hear the voice of God. Is this God that's talking to you? I have gotten this question from a couple of people, and it used to be something that I struggled with as well. And I would hear people say, God told me to tell you this. And I would just hear people talk about God said this and God said that and God told me. And I'm just like, wow, like they must be somebody really special. God told them that. So that's the way I used to be when I was a little girl. I'm like, I just be in just awe of people that could hear from God and God was talking to them, because I was thinking that God was talking to them like I'm talking to you right now. Like I'm thinking, oh, they somebody special. But I want to tell you, these people are not, just Superman, Superwoman. It does not mean that they just so special that God chose them, that he picked them from you. God does not have respect of persons. He does not favor one person more than he favors the other person. Listen, y'all, this is all about positioning. This is all about you getting to the right place in your life where you can hear from God. So I want to give you, just a few signs, just a few tips of how you're going to be able to know the voice of God and how you're going to really be able to discern, is this God speaking to you? So the first thing I want to hit on, and this is a journal note. Now, this is a part of the journal note series. So make sure you have your journals, okay? So you can get some good notes, some good notes. Get them journals. Get them journals, okay? So what does the voice of God sound like? First of all, it's not an actual voice. Okay, it's not like a voice like you hearing my voice right here. It's not a voice that you hear with your physical ear, but it's a voice that you hear with your spiritual ear. Okay, it's a spiritual ear. It's your inner ear. So the voice of God, right? Like I said, it's all about positioning. So when I say positioning, I mean that could go from who you have around you, what the people that are talking around you, what kind of conversations do they have? What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to the radio? Are you watching the news? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of content are you taking in? So that's what I mean when I say it's all about positioning, because if you've been reading a lot of stuff of the world, like scrolling social media, looking at what's on everybody's mind, and just carelessly scrolling through YouTube, not really having any direction on who you watch, but you just watch whoever, and you just get in the car and whatever's on the radio, you just listen to whatever's on the radio. You scroll through the stations or whatever. You get on get your remote and flip through the channels. I mean, you don't really necessarily just have any direction on what you're watching. You just scrolling. You'll just know when you find it. See, that type of thing. That's what I mean by positioning. You have to be in the right positioning, because when God speaks to you, most of the time, he going to speak to you when you're alone. He's going to speak to you when you're in solitary, not when you're in a crowded environment around a whole bunch of people. Because whenever God would speak to people to tell them to do something or tell them to do something great, more than likely it was when they was by themselves. They was alone. They was not around other people. God would speak to them, tell them, get thee from thy kindred. Get from around your kinfolks. Get from around your friends. Get from around your family members. So God will speak to you and tell you to get from around people. And when I say he'll speak to you, I mean you'll have like a strong impulse. That's the first tip that I want to give y'all, how you're going to know the voice of God. It's going to feel like a strong impulse. A lot of y'all, God's speaking to you, but you missing it because you thinking that it's just a coincidence, or you thinking that it's just a feeling that you keep getting, or you thinking that it's just, just who you are. But I want to tell you that if you keep getting like a strong impulse to do something, to do something good, not something evil now, but you getting a strong impulse to do something that's gonna, bring good to your life or bring good to somebody else's life, that's God speaking to you. It could feel like a spiritual impulse, like a unction, like a just a strong pull on you to go to a certain place. Or you know how all of a sudden a person will just come to your mind. You weren't even thinking about that person, but all of a sudden they'll come to your mind, and you may just start praying for them, or you may call them up because you just have this strong urge or this strong impulse that won't leave you alone to call these people. That's God speaking to you. That's God speaking to you. And I want to tell y'all, when people come to your mind like that, and people just come out of nowhere, you start thinking about them, say a prayer for them, because God put that person on your mind, put that person on your heart for a reason. So the voice of God, it will be a strong urge to do something good. It'll be a strong spiritual impulse from within. And when I say an impulse, I mean from within. This is something that you feel from within. This is not physical. It's not something anybody can see, or not something you put your hands on. This is internal. This is spiritual. This is something you feel from within. Okay. And a lot of times when you feel it, don't nobody else know. It's just something that you feel within yourself. That's why I want to do this video, because I want y'all to get comfortable with when you have those feelings, and I want you to understand and know when God is really speaking to you, so you don't have to go ask anybody else. You don't have to go and ask somebody, hey, what do you think about this, or do you think I should do this or do that? You can go forth with that confidence because you know that that's what God is telling you to do. Okay, so you'll get an idea. You may have an idea. You may get a thought. How many times have you been doing something and a thought just came to your mind that you should start this type of business, or you should start up this type of company, or you should, create this type of product? You get an idea, and it's like it will not leave you alone. The idea just every time you push it off, it keep coming back to you. Or you get a thought in your mind that you should do this or you should do that. Or how many times you in your car, you're driving, and you get a thought, you get a strong feeling, a strong impulse that you shouldn't go this way. Maybe you should go another way. Or maybe you should, I know it's been times where I've been walking in the grocery store, and I'll get a strong thought or impulse will come to me that I shouldn't walk down that aisle, that I should go over to the next aisle. I'm telling y'all, that's God. That's God speaking to you. That's how you gonna know his voice, because you gonna get that strong impulse to do something that sometimes it's something that you wouldn't normally do. Maybe it's something you ain't did in a while. Or maybe, you'll get that feeling to call somebody. I'm telling you, it's God, because you'll try to push it off and just pay it no never mind. Like I say, just don't pay it no never mind. But when you try to pay it no never mind, it comes back. I was telling somebody when I did the Morning Glory Lives on my Facebook page, on my profile on Facebook, how that came about was God spoke to me and told me to start doing the Morning Glory Lives. And I had one night where I was, I had been up with God, just communing with God, just praying and just talking to God. And in me, talking to God, I'm looking at the clock. I ain't even realize it's 4:30. It's 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, let me go take a shower and go to bed. Because my kids were going to be up in a few hours. So I'm like, let me try to get a nap in before my kids get up, so I can be ready for them. So I get in the shower, and I'm getting out the shower. No, while I'm in the shower, the thought comes to me to go live. And I'm like, when the thought first came to me, I'm like, man, it's 4:30 in the morning. Ain't nobody up. I'm finna go to bed. When I get out this shower, I'm finna go to bed. So I'm pushing the thought off. Thought kept coming back. And every time it would come back even stronger. And then after it kept coming back, my spiritual sense started kicking in and say, girl, this is God talking to you. You better get on that live, because there's somebody up there. And I'm telling y'all, when I got on that live, when I tell y'all, I'm thinking, okay, ain't nobody up there. Ain't nobody going to watch this. Well, this is crazy. What am I getting on? But the thought kept coming to me. It was God speaking to me. And when I got on the live, when I say I think I reached probably like 10,000 people from that live, but out of those 10,000 people, imagine how many people that prayer helped. Imagine how many people that live helped from me doing that, versus if I would have just pushed it off and just said, I'll forget that mess and went on to bed. You know what I'm saying? So when you get those strong thoughts and those strong impulses to do something that's good, not evil now, but to do something that's good, that's God that's speaking to you. That's how you're going to know the voice of God. Because from me listening to that, God told me, I ended up starting up a whole series where I went live at 4:30 in the morning every morning for about 5 months. I did that every single weekday morning at 4:30 in the morning. And it came from a thought that I had in my mind that God gave to me. So I want to tell y'all that is how God speaks to you the majority of the time. It'll come as a thought, as an idea in your mind, and you know it's God because it won't go against his word or his promises. He's never going to tell you anything that goes against his word. So when you have a thought, when you have an idea, when you have an impulse and you don't know if it's God or not, go to the word. Go to the word and make sure it doesn't contradict his word or his promises or his laws. And if it doesn't, if it goes hand in hand with God's plan, with his word and with his promises, you know it's him. You know it's God. So it's God if what you feel or see or thinking is for the good of others or yourself. So like I said, as long as it's for the good, then it is of God. Okay. So when you have a word and you think it's God, make sure that it lines up with God's ways and make sure that it lines up with his word. Okay. Because understand how you going to know if it's God or if it's the enemy. The enemy knows the word too. He does. So you can't just go by, even when you're listening to people, oh, they know the word, they know the Bible, or they know how to pray. So what? So what? You got to understand, are they using that word? Are they using that knowledge for manipulation? Or are they using it for, y'all excuse me, my phone was dying. Or are they using it for the glory of God's kingdom? Are they using it for the greater good of the kingdom? Because the enemy knows the word as well. But the enemy will use the word to manipulate you, to trick you, to deceive you. And see, you have to understand that God is not the author of confusion. So God ain't going to give you a thought that's going to bring confusion to your life, that's going to bring, all kind of mess and no order to it. God doesn't work like that. So you have to understand God's character. And how you understand his character is by getting in his word. And listen to me. When you get in his word, you are not going to understand it. I'm going to tell you. In the beginning, you are not going to understand it because you've been conformed to the world. And there's just a mindset that we adapted from living in the world to where we're not going to understand the word when we first get in it. So when you first go to his word, find the most basic version of his word that you can find. If you have to get some of the children's stories, get the children's stories, get the Kingdom Bible stories from the children's version, and start with that. Start reading that. I actually had a client that tells me that that's what she does. So and if she's watching this video now, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to do that, if you want to start with the children's version of the Bible, read those stories. Start with the most basic version that you can find, and then just work your way up. And then start going for the amplified version of the Bible. Because a lot of times if you just starting out, you don't want to just jump into that King James, baby, because that King James gonna get you. It gonna get you. You're gonna be like, what? So you don't have to, say, oh, I'm reading the King James version of the Bible. It's different versions of the Bible. And then you can also look into getting some study guides, to go along with it, to help you to break it up, to read different chapters, study that chapter, because you're going to be reading the Bible for as long as you live. Like, you're going to be content. I'm still reading the Bible. I'm still reading it. You never stop reading it because your mindset is steady shifting and you're going to learn new things about it that you didn't see before. So, the same thing is there, but your mindset is shifting. So it's going to stick out to you versus the first couple of times that you read it. Okay. So understand that the enemy will use manipulation and trickery. He'll take the word and he'll use it to manipulate you and trick you. So that's how you're going to know the difference between if it's God or if it's the enemy. Is it for the greater good? Is it for the greater good of the kingdom? Is it for the greater good of you? Is it for the greater good of others? If it is, then it came from God. If it's used through manipulation and trickery, it's coming from the enemy. Okay. So understand that, remember I said it all goes back to positioning. It all goes back to positioning. So you have to make sure that you are in the right posture. You got to make sure that your spirit is in the right place to hear God's voice. Because if you got a lot of stuff going on around you, you are not going to be able to discern him and hear him when he speaks to you. I know I had to get rid of a lot of friends that I used to be on the phone with a lot. A lot of text buddies that I used to have. Text and text and text. And sometimes we think we in the clear just because we texting. No ma'am, no sir. That can be a distraction. God may be trying to get a message to you, but you distracted because that text message going off. Y'all know the little sound Apple made when you text it back and forth. So God trying to get a message to you, trying to get an idea to you, and you over there. Y'all know. Y'all know the little sound it be making. Come on now, it's all my iPhone users. So cut that phone off so you can be able to hear God. Sometimes you got to go on a fast from that phone, okay? So understand that sometimes you have to just turn everything off. You have to spend some alone time with yourself. You have to spend some alone time just between you and God, okay? God does not speak in crowds. That's what I had learned. He ain't about to speak to you in no crowd. You got to get away from the crowd. You got to get away from your kin folks. You got to get away from all them folks, all your co-workers and all them folks. Sometimes you got to take a lunch break by yourself. You can't mix and mingle with your co-workers. Sometimes God wants you to get out by yourself because he's trying to get a word to you. So once you get off by yourself, understand that God does not speak in crowds. He deals with you one-on-one. God is a one-on-one type of God, okay? Jesus always left and snuck away to commune with God. He always did that. Even when Jesus had reached that point of rock star status, when his fame started to spread all around Galilee, and they had heard about this man that was working all these amazing miracles, and he was healing the sick and raising the dead, bringing the dead back to life and giving sight to the blind and helping the lame man get up to walk. Like he's performing all these miracles, and Jesus started drawing a crowd. Jesus went viral. God gave me that revelation. He said if social media was on back then, Jesus would have went viral. Jesus would have had 1 billion views. He would have been viral. So even though Jesus had all that attention, he had all that stuff on him, all them people, all the crowd of people that were pressing up against him, the Bible says early in the morning, a great while before day, Jesus snuck off. He went off by himself so that he could speak to the Father, so that he could commune with the Father, because Jesus knew that he could not hear from God amidst a crowd of people, around a whole bunch of folks. He knew the importance of being one-on-one with God, of being alone with the Father. So I want to tell you how to hear God's voice. You can't be afraid to be one-on-one with God. You can't be afraid to just be you and him, because you and God are the majority. All the other folks, they just side folks. Everybody else is just side folks in your life. You and God are the majority. As long as you and God are good, you and everybody else will be good. So, but if you don't have that connection with the Father, it's going to throw everything off in your life. I'm telling y'all some real stuff. You got to get that connection with him. And it does not come overnight. Think what relationship you done been in. Well, y'all grew overnight. I'm just saying. If you got one, email me, because I want to hear about that and where y'all at today. Because what relationship you have grew overnight. Like everything you ever wanted in a relationship, you got it overnight. It don't work like that. So it don't work like that with God neither. Building a relationship takes time. You got to put time into that. You got to sacrifice some things. You got to invest into it. So if you're not understanding what's going on with the Bible, don't be afraid to invest in that. Don't be afraid to invest in coaching. Don't be afraid to invest in courses. So you just have to do what it takes, do whatever it takes to get you to that next level. And then be asking yourself, like I was saying on the other video, what will it take to get me to my next level as a child of God? What will it take for me to take it to the next level? And then be available for the answer, because your mind is going to give you the answer. Your subconscious mind will answer any question that you ask it. If you don't believe me, Remember the last time you asked yourself, what is that girl's name? We do it all the time. You said, oh, you having a conversation with somebody, and you talking about somebody, and you trying to remember the person's name, you can't remember their name, and don't it frustrate you? Because you like, oh my goodness, what is that girl's name? I can't think of that man's name. What is his name? Oh, then you just forget it because you can't even remember. So you get so frustrated, you just say, I'll forget it. I'll think of it later. I ain't gonna worry about it. And then as soon as you let it go and you going on about your business, you start thinking about something else. What happened? What happened? That name come to you, don't it? Okay. That's because when you ask that question, you asked it consciously. You asked it with your conscious mind. See, your conscious mind is only 5% of your mind. It does not hold your memory. It does not hold your memory. Your subconscious holds your memory. Your subconscious is 95% of your thinking. It's 95% of your mind. And that part of your mind serves as a huge memory bank. It's a memory bank. It never forgets anything. It knows the answer to everything. And it's connected to the infinite intelligence of God. It's connected to the infinite power of God. And so when you ask that question and you let it go, your subconscious mind grabbed it and it went into that infinite bank of knowledge and memory, and it found that person's name. And when it found the answer, because as soon as it finds the answer, it brings it back to you. It comes back up to the surface with the answer. And so one day when you in your kitchen and you opening your refrigerator, getting you a soda or getting you some water, that person's name comes to your mind. Boom. Timmy. That was his name. His name was Timmy, girl. Then you get on the phone calling your friend like, girl, I just thought of that man's name. His name was Timmy. And you know why you thought of it? Because your subconscious, it found the answer. From the point that you asked that question, your subconscious went to looking. It was going through the database. It was going through the database. And it did not stop until it brought you that answer. And I want you to take that knowledge, what I just shared with you, and I want you to use that knowledge and apply that knowledge to your life and ask yourself, ask your mind, just like you ask yourself, what is that person's name? Ask your mind, say, what will it take for me to go to the next level as a child of God? What will it take? And then let it go. Don't try to rack your brain trying to figure out the answer. Just let it go. And then when you think of it again, just ask the question again. What will it take to take my life to the next level as a child of God? What will it take? What do I need to do to go to the next level? To increase my relationship with God, to increase my revelation of God's word. What will it take? And let it go. And then the answer is going to come to you. You're going to have an impulse. You're going to have a thought. You're going to have an idea to go do something, to go buy something. Now, see, when the idea comes to you, it's going to come to you strong. It's going to be something different about it. That's how you're going to know it's the answer, because it's going to come to you different. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is so real, because it done been times where I done asked my mind stuff and my mind done literally woke me up out my sleep. Like a person was speaking what I needed to hear and I was asleep, and I felt something in my mind just shaking me, telling me to get up. And I got up, and at the time when I got up, I was hearing the lady speak exactly what I needed to hear. So you're going to find the answer. If you ask a question, your mind is going to find the answer for you. So I want you to use that. Use that power. That's what God meant when he said, I will do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think, according to the power that works in you. Come on now. It's the power that works in you. God is going to move. He's going to move mountains for you. God is going to work a miracle for you through the power that's in you, through the power that's in your subconscious mind. That's what the power is. Because what did I just tell y'all? Your subconscious mind is connected to the power of God. It is connected to the infinite intelligence of God. So that's how he gonna work the miracle through you. But see, you got to know the right questions to ask. Ask empowering questions. That's what it's called. Y'all write that in your journal, because this is part of the journal note series. Write that in your journal. Ask empowering questions. Questions that will empower you, not questions that will tear you down. So you don't want to ask yourself, why can't I hear God's voice? why can't I understand the Bible? I just don't get this stuff. Why I can't understand this? Why I can't understand when God's speaking to me? I just don't get. See, that's disempowering. That does not empower you. That tears you down. Because when you ask that question, you're going to get an answer for that too. It's going to say, you don't get this stuff because you can't understand it. You don't get this stuff because you're slow. You're a slow learner. Or, you have a hard time understanding stuff like this. You have a hard time understanding the word. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to get an answer for whatever question you ask. So you got to make sure you ask an empowering question. Ask a question that's going to empower you, not tear you down. So when you say, what will it take for me to go to the next level in this word? What will it take for me to go to the next level as a child of God? Now that's an empowering question. That's something that's going to take you to the next level. Now, when the answer comes, you got to be available to receive the answer. That's why I said positioning is so important, because if you got a lot of people around you, you got music playing, you got different things going on, when the answer comes, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. So you got to be positioned, okay? That's how you're going to be able to hear God's voice. Now, from speaking this, because I couldn't speak on everything, if you're still confused, if you still don't know, I want you to comment below on this video, or either you can email me, support@IamLatoyaO'Keel.com. Send me your concerns, send me your questions, and if I'm able to, I will put it into a video where I can help everybody, okay? Where I can help everybody. So either comment or send me your questions, your concerns to support@IamLatoyaO'Keel.com, and I will come up with some content that I can put on a video so I can help you with your questions, with your concerns. I love y'all so much. I want to tell y'all, thank y'all so much for 8,000 subscribers. That is God, baby. That is nobody but God. God is drawing in his people. God is faithful. He is doing exactly what he said he would do. And I want to tell y'all that I'm praying for each and every one of y'all. No, I'm not calling out your name verbatim to God, but God knows exactly who you are. And I am praying for each and every one of my subscribers, each and every person that God sends to this channel, because I know you didn't come to this channel by accident. You could have been on any other channel, but God sent you here for purpose, because it's your season of purpose. And I make sure that I pray for you, and that God will stir up your purpose, and that God will launch you into your season of purpose, because it is your time. Y'all know what I just told you on the last prophetic word. It's your time to manifest. And I also want to tell y'all, don't think it's, crazy or just whoa if you see a lot of prophetic words coming from me, because I want to tell y'all this. You got a gift, use your gift. Forget what folks got to say. Use your gift. This has been a gift that's been in me for the longest, and I would always run away from it. I didn't never want to use it because I worry about what people were going to say, and worry about what people going to think about me, and all this type of stuff, this, that, and the third. Listen, forget these folks. Y'all know I just told you, this is your time to manifest. This is your time to bloom. No more being a little bitty flower bud, but it's time to open up. It's time to let everything out. Let this glory come out of you that God been trying to get out. And I mean that for me too. That's why I said, if God give me a prophetic word every day, guess what? You're going to get a prophetic word every day on this YouTube channel, because I got to let it out. The same thing I tell y'all, I got to do that for myself. This is all of our time to manifest. Don't you hold back on not one gift you got. Y'all going to be hearing me singing too, because singing is one of my gifts. So y'all going to be getting some singing videos from me too, baby, because God said, don't you hold nothing back. He said, let everything out. Same thing I tell y'all, I live by it too. So I want to tell you, whatever God done gifted you to do, don't you shortchange us. Give us everything. Give us everything that God gave you, because I'm going to give y'all everything he gave me. Okay. I love y'all so much. I love you with a divine love. You are my brothers and my sisters in Christ. And I truly thank God for each and every one of y'all. Send me your questions, your concerns. Don't forget. Now, if you watch this video, you still got some questions, you still kind of scratching your head, send it to me, because I need to hear from y'all. And then send me any other video topics that y'all would like to suggest, any other videos that you would like to see on the channel. Send them to me, okay? Because I'm here to serve y'all. That's what I'm here for. That's my purpose, to pull you into your purpose. So if there's anything that you're struggling with that's keeping you from being in your purpose, send it to me and I will address it publicly. I will not say your name. but I will address the topic publicly, anonymously, so that I can help you as well as everybody else that's struggling with that issue. So I love y'all. I am Latoya Okia. Y'all know what I always tell you. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. With God, all things are possible. Make sure y'all are following my podcast. It's called Divine Destiny with Latoya. Y'all, the podcast is my baby. That's my baby right there now, because that's where I started it, on my podcast. So y'all got to make sure y'all go check me out now on the podcast. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It's everywhere where podcasts are played. It's called Divine Destiny with Latoya. You see it, the name on the banner on my YouTube channel, okay? That's my baby right there, y'all. I don't play about my podcast. Now, I love me some podcasting. I love me some podcasting. So, y'all be blessed. I check in with y'all later. And I love you so much.